Next question is, if roots of the equation x square minus 10cx minus 11d is equals to 0 are a comma b, and those of x square minus 10ax minus 11b is equals to 0 are c comma d, then value of a plus b plus c plus d is where a, b, c and d are distinct numbers. So let's solve it. So according to given question, this given equation has two roots a and b. So we know relation between roots and coefficients. So we can say sum of root, which is a plus b, is equals to minus of minus 10c, so which is plus of 10c, right? And product of root, if we are writing here, so a into b is equals to minus of 11d, right? And similarly, this equation are having two roots c and d, so sum of root we can say c plus d is equals to minus of minus 10a, so plus of 10a. And product of root c into d, if we are writing here, so that will be minus of 11b, right? This it is. So let's suppose this is our equation number 1 and this is our equation number 2. If we are going to subtract second equation from first equation, so 1 minus 2 we are getting from here, that will be, we can write down a minus c plus b minus d is equals to 10 times c minus a. Is it clear, everybody? Here a minus c, b minus d, and here 10 times c minus 10 times a, so 10 we are taking common here. So from here you can see, from this part we can say b minus d is equals to, this is a minus c, if we are taking minus sign common, so that is c minus a. So minus sign common we are writing, so c minus a is coming on this side, so plus of c minus a. So 10 times c minus a plus c minus a is 11 times c minus a, everybody, right? So let's suppose this is another equation, equation number 3, which is, now since a comma b are the root of this first equation, so a and d must satisfy this given equation. So we are putting at the place of x, let's suppose x is equals to a, we are putting, so we are getting from here a square minus of 10ac minus of 11d is equals to 0. Similarly, this given equation has two roots c comma d. So c or d must satisfy this given equation. So let's put at the place of x c. So we are getting c square minus of 10 times of ac minus of 11 times of b is equals to 0, right? So let's subtract these two equations. We are going to subtract these two given equations. So here negative sign, here plus sign, here plus sign. As you can see here, we are doing subtraction of these two given equations, right? So a square minus c square we can write down here, and here minus 10ac plus 10ac is getting cancelled here, right? And this is from here minus of 11 if we are taking common here, so plus of 11 if we are taking common here, so that is b minus d we can write down is equals to 0, right? So this can be further written in a simplified manner as a minus c is a minus c into a plus c, we can write down a square minus c square, right? Plus of 11 times b minus d it is, right? That it is, and is equals to 0. So from here we can see b minus d value is 11 times c minus a. From third equation we are putting here b minus d value as 11 times c minus a. So we will get a minus c into a plus c, and here plus of 11 times b minus d. B minus d is also 11 times c minus a. So into 11 times c minus a we can say, right, is equals to 0. So this equation we are basically going to divide by c minus a. So this c minus a and this a minus c will get cancelled. So here minus 1, you can see this is a minus c, it is c minus a, we are dividing the entire equation, right? So we can say that this a plus c on that side, we can say a plus c is equals to 121. A plus c is equals to 121 we are getting here. A plus c is equals to 121 we are getting the value here. And if we are going to add this first and second equation, first plus second if we are doing here, so we are getting a plus b plus c plus d is equals to 10 times of a plus c. 10 times of a plus c, right? So that we can write down as this given quantity b plus d we are getting as 10 times of a plus c, and this is a plus c we are sending on that side, so minus of a plus c. So 10 times a plus c minus a plus c is what? 9 times of a plus c, right? That it is. So b plus d we are getting 9 times of a plus c, and a plus c already we are having 121, so directly we can get the value, that is a plus b plus c plus d value they are asking. So a plus c we are writing here, and b plus d is what here? 9 times a plus c, right now. So that is here basically a plus b plus c plus d meaning, right now. This is nothing but b plus d, as you can see from the previous equation. So this is a plus b plus c plus d, that is nothing but 10 times of a plus c. So 10 times of a plus c, we can say 10 into a plus c. A plus c value is how much here? 121 we are getting here. So 121 we are writing, our answer will be 1210. So this is the answer of the given question. Next question is, the value of 5050 times 0 to 1 integration 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 100 dx upon 0 to 1 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 101 dx is. So let's solve it. So let's suppose this numerator integral I am just giving the symbol I100, and this denominator integral I am just giving the symbol I101. Since here you can see power is 100, here 101, that is the only difference, right? So I am just going to solve the denominator integral. So we are getting a I101 0 to 1 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 101 dx, right now. So here I am just going to use integration by parts. So here let's suppose this is our second function, this is our first function, this is our first function, and there is a unity that can be understood very well, that is our second function, right? So unity is our second function, and 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 101 is our first function. So here on using integration by part, we can write down I101 is equals to first function as it is, second function integration. So one integration is x, right? 0 to 1 is this integration taking place, right? Minus 0 to 1 first function differentiation. So first function differentiation when we are doing, so 101 1 minus x to the power 50, and this is 101 minus 1 is 100, right now. And then 1 minus x to the power 50 differentiation, that is minus of 50 times x to the power 49, right? That it is into first function differentiation into second function integration. So one integration will comes x, right? Dx, that it is clear. So from here you can see, if you are putting this upper limit, so 1 minus 1 it is 0 here, so overall it will be 0. If you are putting lower limit 0, so this part will be 0, so overall 0. So this overall meaning is coming 0 only, correct now? So no need of mentioning that. So we are writing here I101 is equals to, this is completely 0 as I said here, right? So this is minus 0 to 1, and this is 101 into 50. So we can say that is here 5050 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 100 it is, right? And this is minus of x to the power 49 into x, so that will be minus of x to the power 50 it is, right? Minus of x to the power 50. Why? X to the power 49 into x is what here? X to the power 50 with minus sign. So we are just adding here 1 and we are subtracting here 1. Any problem? No problem, right now? No problem on the overall integral. Now this part I am just splitting here, this part as one of the part and this is another part. This is like a minus b kind of thing, right? Now a minus of b kind of thing. So you know this quantity will come in the product with this, so it can be written I101 is equals to minus of 0 to 1, and that is 5050. This is 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 100 already is there. 1 minus x to the power 50 is being product, so you know bases are same. power will be added. So here it can be written as 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 101, right? Minus, here it is there. So this given quantity will be product with this. So here dx it is this data. If you will see, minus and minus is what here? Plus 0 to 1, and that is here 5050. And this given quantity is 1 minus x to the power 50. 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 100 dx. That we are getting here, right? So 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 101 integral from 0 to 1. I am saying here I101. So we can say that is nothing but I101 is equals to this minus of 5050, and this 0 to 1, 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 101 is I101, I can say. So I101 I am writing here, right? And this given quantity, if you will see, plus of this 5050 coming outside of the integral operator, and 0 to 1, 1 minus x to the power 50 to the power 100 dx is nothing but I100. Here I had already given here symbol, so that is here I100, that we can say here directly, right now I100. So this negative quantity coming on that side, so we are getting here positive of 5050 times I101 plus I101. So that is here 5051 times I101, right? I101, right? So on the right side remaining quantity is 5050 I100, we can say here. So they are asking 5050 times I100. This meaning is what here? This meaning is 5050 times I100 upon I101 is equals to what? That is the only meaning here. So you are just arranging this in cross multiplication. So you are getting 5050 I100 upon I101 is equals to 5051. So our answer for this question will be 5051, right? Next question is, if an is equals to 3 upon 4 minus 3 by 4 to the power 2 plus 3 by 4 to the power 3 plus dot 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 minus 1 to the power n minus 1 into 3 by 4 to the power n, where bn is equals to 1 minus an, then find the minimum odd natural number. This is here odd, everybody just observe here. Here is the editing part, here was the mistake in the question. It is here, find the minimum odd natural number n naught such that bn is greater than an for all n greater than n naught, right? So from here, let's solve it. We can see that this bn is equals to 1 minus an, it is given here, right? And bn is greater than an. So bn is greater than an. We are taking this data, so we can say bn is greater than an as it is given here, and bn can be written as 1 minus an. So we can say 1 minus an is greater than an. So from there we can write down this given quantity. On this side we are taking an, so 2 times an, so an less than 2 is coming in the cross multiplication 1 by 2. So we are getting an should be less than 1 by 2. We are getting one of the information this from this given data, right? And now let's find out what is an. An is the summation of this given sequence. So if you will observe this sequence, so this sequence is nothing but a geometric progression, right? Now where first term is 3 by 4 and common ratio is minus of 3 by 4. So let's write down an by using sum of a GP formula. So that is a into 1 minus r to the power n upon 1 minus r, we can say here. So a is here 3 by 4, right, into 1 minus r to the power n. So r is how much here? R is minus of 3 by 4. So minus of 3 by 4 we are saying. And number of term in this sequence is what here? Power easily you can, so nothing is mentioned here, means 1, 2, 3 like that, n up to n it is going. So number of term is n here. So 1 minus r to the power n upon 1 minus r. 1 minus r we are writing, so r is minus of 3 by 4. So you can say minus of 3 by 4 as it is, right? So from there we are getting an is equals to 3 by 4, and this given quantity 1 minus of 3 by 4 to the power n upon, this is a minus minus plus, this is 4 plus 3, 7 by 4, 7 by 4. This 4 is getting cancelled. We are getting from here an is equals to 3 by 7, and this is 1 minus of 3 by 4 to the power n, right? Now this it is coming here. Now from here you can see an is less than 1 by 2. An is what here? Less than 1 by 2 already we are getting from here, right? So an is less than 1 by 2 we are going to put here, means an is equivalent to this, so this given quantity must be less than 1 by 2. So we can say 3 by 7 1 minus of 3 by 4 to the power n must be less than 1 by 2, right? So from here you can say this in the cross multiplication it is coming here. So 1 minus of 3 by 4 to the power n less than, this is coming here 7 upon 6, right? So from there this given quantity on this side and this I am taking on this side. So 1 minus 7 by 6 less than minus of 3 by 4 to the power n, right? We are getting this thing. So on the simplification 6 minus 7 minus 1 by 6. So minus 1 by 6 is less than minus 3 by 4 to the power n. Then what should be the minimum odd natural number n naught? Obviously if it will be not mentioned odd, then it will be satisfied for every even numbers, right? Now by n will be any even number, this will be always a positive quantity. So right side quantity is positive, left side is negative, so it will be always correct now. So here 0 directly you can say, or 2 or 4, all it is coming here, minimum will be 0 coming here. But question was here minimum odd natural number they are asking basically, correct now. If we are taking odd natural number, if we are taking n is equals to 1, if we are going to test n is equals to 1, so we are getting minus 1 by 6 on the left side and on the right side minus 3 by 4. So is it minus 1 by 6 is less than minus 3 by 4? Is it less than? No, it is not less than. It is n is equals to 1 is not satisfying. Similarly, n is equals to next odd number we are taking 3 here, right now. So 3 if we are taking here, so minus 1 by 6 and on the right side minus 3 by 4 to the power 3. So minus 3 to the power 3 is minus 27 upon 64, right? This it is. So minus 1 by 6 is less than minus 27 by 64? Obviously not. So this is also not correct here. This is not less than. Why? Because 1 by 6, you know, this is a smaller fraction. This is a bigger fraction, correct now? So in this case minus sign is there. So because of the weightage, this negative quantity is having less weight than this negative quantity. So obviously this will be greater than this, right now. So n is equals to 3 also not satisfying. N is equals to 5 when we are taking here. So similarly you can see on the left side minus 1 by 6, on the right side minus 3 to the power 5 is minus of 243 upon 4 to the power 5 means 1024, right? 1024 we can say. So minus 1 by 6 is less than minus 243 by 1024. Again it is not correct here, it is not less than, correct now. And similarly n is equals to 7 when we are testing here. So on the left side it is coming here minus 1 by 6. It will be obviously less than, it is coming here less than minus of minus to the power 7 minus only, and 3 to the power 7 is 2187 upon 4 to the power 7 when we are writing. So 12288, that value will comes here 4 to the power 7. So minus 1 by 6 is less than this value. Yes, this is absolutely satisfying here. So the minimum odd natural number if we are talking about, so that will be nothing but n is equals to 7. N is equals to 7 must be the answer for the given question. Next question is, if fx is a twice differentiable function such that f of a is equals to 0, f of d is equals to 2, f of c is equals to minus 1, f of d is equals to 2, f of e is equals to 0, where a, b, c, d, e are in increasing order, then minimum number of zeros of gx is equals to f dash x whole square plus f double dash x into fx in the interval close a to e is. So let's solve it. So gx is given here f dash x whole square plus f double dash x into f of x. So we can also write down this is nothing but gx is derivative of a function which is fx into f dash of x, right now. So let's suppose this is our new function. This is our new function. I'm saying hx here. Hx is f of x into f dash of x. So let hx is equals to fx into f dash of x. Now one theorem we know that if fx is a continuous function and having two roots a and b, then f dash x must have at least one root in interval a to b. So from here, from the given data, we can find out how many number of possible roots are there of fx according to given scenario. So let's make a number line here, right? This is a number line or x-axis you can say, and we are just mentioning a b c d in an increasing order on this line here, right? In an increasing order it is written here, as already you are knowing here. So for f of a, functional value will be what is 0 here. So f of a will be 0, and at b functional value will be plus 2. So plus 2 means above x-axis it will be plus 2, and at point c its value will be minus 1. Minus 1 means it will be below x-axis, you can say here, correct now. And at point d its functional value will be again positive 2. So positive 2 means here somewhere it will be there above x-axis, and at point e it will be again 0 here. So since fx is twice differentiable, so fx is twice differentiable means fx is necessarily continuous. So continuous function graph, if we will join here any rough figure joining these points, so we can see the graph scenario will be like this one, this, right? So from here you can see this is a rough structure. Just I am saying that fx is a continuous function, so the fx will be intersecting the x-axis at how many points? At a and e. It is given in the question only, it is 0 here. So two roots means whenever the graph will be intersecting the x-axis on those points, the root will be there. Right now those points will be considered as a root here. So means this is a and e is already two roots of f of a, f of x. Already it is clear from the given question. But at point b functional value is positive, and at point c functional value is negative, and fx is twice differentiable. Twice differentiable means it is continuous. So continuous function from positive to negative it will be coming. So definitely it will be intersecting one time the x-axis. And same scenario, negative to positive it will be going. So it is a continuous function. It must have to intersect the x-axis at least one times. So at least one time I am saying right now. So what we will see here, that graph must intersect the x-axis at least at 1, 2, 3, 4, at 4 points. So we can say fx have at least 4 roots. At least 4 roots. So fx is a continuous function. It is having at least 4 roots. So we can say f dash x must have at least 3 roots, right now. According to the theorem that I said, in between any two roots, the function's derivative must have at least one root. So we can say f dash x must have at least 3 roots, correct now? So here you can see these are the root. In between one root necessarily will be there, and in between these two roots of fx, one root for f dash x necessarily will be there, and in between these two roots f dash x must have at least one root here, right now. So they are asking here gx will have how many number of root in closed interval a to e. So in this case you can see gx is derivative of this, right now. Gx is derivative of this. So this function we are considering hx. So we can say hx. From there we can say hx is fx into f dash x. So hx have at least 4 root for fx, f dash x 3 roots, so at least 7 roots. right now. So hx is having at least 7 roots. So we can say that gx is derivative of this. So h dash x must have at least 6 roots, right? At least 6 roots. So this is our answer.